Ah, it's a little bit late, but uh, I think there's some couple of little things we can talk about today. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to Power Up Show, the one place where you can come and look at us talk about the video game industry and other mediums of entertainment. And tonight, we have, of course, none other, the one and only, my heart of hearts, Retro Richard. Rich, welcome. Say hi.
Heart
Hello.
heart of hearts. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Happy to be here. Can't wait. We actually have, it's to be seen how this conversation is going to go. So I am very excited.
Yeah, yeah.
Those are
There.
always the best conversations we have.
Yes, when they come all random and stuff. We should be
Yeah.
called random something or random power random or something like that because it's all random with us. Yeah, there hasn't been a lot of news lately. So tonight we are talking a little bit about what we have been playing. Of course, that's always a given. And what are we waiting for? What are we looking in the near future? So, first of all, Rich, let us have it. What have you been playing?
Well, I think I continued playing Mass Effect, but I haven't made much of a dent. I
Okay.
don't feel like. I don't think I played that much. And it's not boring me, but it is not grabbing me by the hooks either. And that's why I haven't been playing too much. Like it hasn't really sucked me in yet. And I'm out of the Citadel on my first mission. So
Oh, okay.
it just it I'm in like in a snowy area and it just feels like I just, go and talk to this guy, then go and talk to this person. Some shooting, which I'm pretty sure feels better than the original. So I can't even imagine those who were like playing this back in the day, and you're just going from one conversation to another, and then you have some shooting
Crappy shooting.
scenarios that didn't quite work out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so some crappy shooting.
So
Let's say it. It was crappy. But
yeah,
that's the interesting part. All that beginning, or once you got out of the Citadel, you're doing the role playing side of the game, right? So once you
yeah,
go a little bit further, then you go into a lot more action, which is allegedly a lot better than the original one. So yeah, I mean, I just installed it myself, the Legendary Edition, just to try and keep up. I think my last save is precisely on that zone, so we should be more or less
oh, okay.
on the same side.
All right.
On the
So
same
this
zone.
weekend I'll be playing. This week I'll be playing a little more. I've also been really busy with work, so that kind of derails.
Touche.
And it was Halloween and all that stuff, and kid stuff, and I did have a friend for the weekend, so that all of that stuff kind of derailed me. But yeah, again, it's not that I'm bored. It hasn't grabbed me by the hooks. Like I remember Xenoblade when they grabbed me, I could not let go. I needed to play more. I needed to find out what was going on, and I like actually the action, the RPG or the turn-based mechanics of Xenoblade.
Hmm.
Uh, but again, I'm not trying to compare the two. It just hasn't hooked me yet. But it's too early still, so we'll see.
Yeah, it is quite early, and also you just came out of the Citadel, which is also allegedly the most boring part of the whole game. When you go for the first time to the Citadel, and you're just stuck there doing this and that before being able to go into the stars and go and
Yeah.
fight evil and be a specter.
Yeah. And again, I think I mentioned it last time. It does seem like I'm looking at the same three races all the time, like three
Hmm.
or four races at most, right? And I don't know if that's the whole game or this just the beginning. I'm guessing it's the whole game just because it's so old, but I'm hoping by Mass Effect 2 that changes a bit, but I may be mistaken.
No, yeah, yeah. You'll see more races, and also in Mass Effect, you'll see even more. So just hold on tight, hold on tight. You'll get
Hold
there.
on tight. So what have you been playing now?
Myself,
Oh,
well,
I know what you've been playing.
oh my god, let me know, let me have it.
That resource game, Satisfactory, I think it's called.
Yes, it is, and yes, I have. Um, Quick update. I'm very close to get to the nuclear era, to say it in a way. Right now, I'm just trying to get all the resources to my main base through a couple of different railway circuits that I made. So it's been fun time. It's been quite a challenge by this point now. It is quite challenging to get everything working and get your factories a lot more efficient, and you have to go in and explore the world as well to start getting the materials to make things more efficient as well. So it is a fun times. It is quite good. Also,
And have you? Oh, okay, go.
no, no,
You,
no,
you
please.
you may answer my question. No, I was gonna. What happened to Space Marine?
Space Marine, this week I haven't played it, to be honest. I am waiting for December's update, however. It's gonna come with a lot of cosmetics and some other goodies, you know,
Okay,
for
okay.
also fun times.
So it's not. You haven't. It's not completely forgotten yet.
No, 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 it's not forgotten. No, no, I'll keep playing it. I'm just taking my time right now, or more likely, Satisfactory is taking most of my time. Most. What I have played a little bit, however, is you know how we talked about. I made that rig over there with the flight controls and stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I got myself to download Star Wars Squadrons.
Oh, I did see that you were playing that, and I
Yes.
figure you were using your whole thing.
Exactly. You know, when the game first came out, I mean, I'm a sucker for space shooters. It doesn't matter if it's Star Wars or any other brand or whatever. But the controls felt very clunky on the joystick, right? I mean, on the controller, on the Xbox controller, it felt really, really, really clunky. So I didn't really play it at all, and it was just there on my library for no apparent reason. And now that I have the controllers and I give it a shot, I was like, well, it might be a little bit different. Holy shit! This is so different. It's such a good game. It feels very good. It feels very good. You have to do a lot of stuff, but you have everything, in your hands. Um, how can I explain it? There's a lot of stuff that you can do, and with the flight controls, you have everything you need to make it happen. So now it is a great game. I'm enjoying it quite a bit, and
It is very simmy, I gotta say.
yes, yes, you have a lot of stuff to consider. You have to consider,
Yeah.
as always, shields. Bring them to the fore, bring them to the back, and just keep it on center, and then you have a dial where you can focus your ship to be like balanced, or to be focused on shields, or to be
Yeah.
focused on speed, or to be focused
Offensive.
on lasers. Yeah, exactly. And all in all, it's pretty exciting. The only sad part is that you only get like two missions with the Empire, and then you jump straight into the Rebel Alliance.
Oh, I don't
I
remember. So I played maybe like three-quarters of it when it
uh-huh.
first came out. But I encountered a bug that I couldn't
Game
finish a stage.
breaking. That sucks.
And yeah, and I just didn't have the courage to, not the courage, I just didn't want to start all over.
Yeah. Oh,
And it
that
was a
sucks.
it was a difficult stage, like getting to that point and getting to the end. So what would happen, I actually finished the stage, but it wouldn't clock it that I finished.
Mm-hmm.
And it just stayed there and stayed there, and it happened several times. So it's not like, oh, maybe there's one ship
Yeah,
somewhere
you
that I
can
didn't go. No,
just
it
look
just happened
for.
several times. Yeah. So it and I was playing it in VR.
Oh, interesting. You know what would be
Yeah,
great?
except that I didn't have the controls. So
Uh
you
huh.
imagine VR and having the full set controls.
Yeah, that would be
That
awesome.
would be interesting.
This game I would love to play in VR with the controllers. Sadly, unless I win the lottery or something, I'm not going to be getting a VR headset anytime soon. But it would be awesome, I think. This one, and of course Ace Combat, 7, which also I started to play a little bit just to test the controllers, and it's awesome. Um,
And
I
that
also
one also has some VR missions, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it does have it does have VR missions, so that'll be great. I did try MechWarrior 5 Clans, which came out on Game Pass, uh, but apparently it's not well optimized still for controllers. So you have all of your controllers except for the throttle. So you have a mech moving around but just sitting still, right? You cannot throttle at all, or maybe I'm just not good at setting up the controllers. But this one does require to go to a file, go into the file, uh, rearrange the file to be able to set up your controller to whatever you need. So it's a big hassle. So my thought is I'll just wait for them to to update it and get the controls working and then enjoy it with the controllers. In the meantime, however, with an Xbox controller, it does feel quite good. Um, it does it does lose a little bit of the simulation aspect of the mech because before you have since you have your legs right here and then you have your body and you can rotate your upper body while keeping your legs in the same position in the same direction, right? So you can be
Mm-hmm.
walking straight, but you can turn your whole body to shoot to whoever is on your right or on your
Gotcha.
left. So that's how those mechs work. Now, with the controllers, you can play it in that way, but it's really clunky. It's always been to try to play in that way with a controller. However, it does have a modern setup or something like that is called, like modern settings, which pretty much makes it a third person shooter with no not so simmy in that sense. You can walk like like you would normally would with a third person shooter character in other games. So
So I
it
think
is
I
still
have our
mech,
first topic for the show, Mel.
huh?
Based on the little, I think I have the first topic for the show. Now that
Oh,
we, now based on the conversation that we're having.
well,
So
let's have it.
let's talk about games that the way you played it, and not and by the way I mean the hardware that you use, maybe made a game that you're not enjoying or just normal or maybe even bad, and actually catapulted it to a good game or an amazing game because of the
Of the
hardware that you're
hardware.
using.
All
And by
right,
that I mean it can be a controller, it can be the
VR.
setup that you have, it can be VR, it can be, oh shit, this is perfect portable. Like I would hate it on my big TV on the couch, but portable makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Or what else can it be?
The other way around.
Let's skip the I have a better computer
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, of course.
I think that's kind of shit.
Although
But
I'm going the other way around. I have a portable. I just bought. I haven't played it, but I just bought
huh?
Phasmophobia. Remember we saw the trailers and
Oh
so
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
bought
yeah.
it for Steam. It was rather cheap, so I was like, okay, let's try it, and you might be able to play it on the Steam Deck as well. Now the question is, this is sort of a horror ambience kind of game. I wonder if it does have that same impact if you have it on a portal on a portal device rather than on the big TV, with lights off and what have you.
I
I've
think,
been
well,
I've
you
been
can
thinking
have
about
lights
that.
off. You can have lights off with a portable. I think when it comes to scary games, just depends on the design, but the sound makes a bigger difference than the image,
Hmm.
in my opinion,
And this
and the
game
direction of the game. So
does have a lot of sound induced paranoia, right? So
yeah.
that could
So
be
what
it.
I mean, if you had headphones, if you're playing the portable and you're just using the speakers, I think you're gonna lose a lot. I think you need to play it with good headphones
Hmm.
if you're playing a horror game. Now I'm talking in
It is
general. I don't know
necessary.
about this particular game. Um, I don't think, obviously the bigger the TV, the more immersed you're gonna be, and the more maybe
It,
the setting is gonna
I,
scare you. But it's
I've been
I really think it's the sounds that get you more than the actual visual.
you know, I do have this issue with portable devices. When you're trying to play, you're never really that comfortable, right? Because you have to have it more or less near near somewhere, you know, but closer to your face. So that kind of, since I have to be, you know, moving around, going
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
going that, it kind of totally brings me out of any particular experience. And then you say like, "Oh, I'm going to lay down," and you're like, "Ah, I'm tired," and then you're trying to figure, you know, it's very hard for me to keep that kind of focus on a portable device.
With that said, though, grinding to me is best portable.
Yeah, yeah, anything grind is good. Anything that you don't have to be you know, very keen into the story or the details or the ambience. Anything like that is good. Like Satisfactory would be awesome on the portable, I think.
Yeah, I would imagine that would be great.
Yeah.
All right, so what do you have? What do you have a game that has actually improved based on the hardware that you use?
Well, of course, uh, Star Wars. We just talked about that, but
Oh yeah, you just talked.
I I am waiting for one more game. I already played the previous one, but not with the controllers. I just played it on the PC and whatever. I'm waiting for the new one because it's coming on the 19th of November, so we're pretty
Which one is
close.
this?
And this would be a Flight Simulator 2024. Uh,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, that's gonna be awesome too. But um, I tested Flight Simulator, the the latest that came out on Game Pass, of course, and
Mm-hmm.
it was nice. It was great. You know, great graphics. It looks awesome. Simulation seems very solid. However, um, it has it doesn't have a lot of gameplay value in itself. You do have like missions that you can do and finish, and you're done with them, and you're good. But it doesn't have anything like a career mode or a progression in any sort of way. You're simply just you end up just picking up a destination and you just fly, right? So now with the
Gotcha.
new one, 2024, it's gonna come with a lot of jobs. So it's like you're working in an oil rig and moving heavy equipment, or you're a rescue rescue team in the mountains, or you're pretty much
Oh
a
yeah,
race.
yeah. More mission based
Exactly, it's gonna give you like a lot of more a lot of more things
objectives.
to do, objectives, a career, kind of, you know, keep on improving. So that's gonna be good. And with the controllers, I think that's gonna rock. I think that's gonna be awesome to be able to play it with the rig.
I'm gonna give you an oldie, and it just crossed my mind as we're speaking. But this is more because this particular game was made available in the Switch
Yeah,
again, but you play it through controllers, and it's Duck Hunt. And it makes no freaking sense. Why would you want to play Duck Hunt with a controller, right? Like you need a light gun. Any
exactly.
game that was based on a light gun, when they try to make it,
With a
uh,
controller,
yeah, yeah, with a controller, it's just
Ho-
not gonna.
Hogan's Alley, man. You tried to play it with a controller, yes. I mean, I'll give it to you. The sapper, it wasn't really that good, but you still had the feeling that, hey, I'm shooting something with this gun, right? Then you
It's
played
better than the
Hogan's.
controller.
Yeah, I mean, you tried to play something like Hogan's Alley, and it was like,
Yeah,
I don't know what I'm doing, you know. Granted, I probably
yeah.
didn't know what I was doing with a gun either, but it was a lot. It was a lot better. It was a better experience all in all to have the light gun and or if you want to go to a little bit of a better usage of that. On the Super Nintendo, I remember we used to play the one robot games that you had like the bazooka kind of thing.
Uh-huh. The Super Scope.
Yeah, yeah, that thing, the Super Scope, and that was really cool to play with the bazooka. But then we tried to play the two players, I think it was, or something like that. We had to use the controller, and it was like, why am I even trying?
Yeah.
You know, if you
Why are
use
we
the
doing
Super
this?
Scope, is cool. If you use the controller, not at all.
Yeah. And this is I always found the Super Scope to be kind of weird, like to have this big thing that all you're doing is clicking the trigger, it just felt weird to me. I was never a fan of the Super Scope. I didn't hate it, but I didn't think it wasn't that much of an improvement from the Sapper, to be honest. I actually prefer the Sapper.
Well,
Shoots into
the thing about the Sappers that didn't really work as it was supposed to because of how it was made. So if you were deep into the games, then you would say, hey, something is wrong with this thing. On the other hand, at that point, we didn't really care much about it. We just played it and we enjoyed it, and we just had the gun in our hand and we shot and it zapped, and that was awesome. So you know, at that time, that was great. Right now, of course, it would be like, oh, why am I even trying?
um, one that comes to mind when we've had similar conversations, it's Resident Evil 7.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I played Resident Evil 7 in VR, the whole thing. And we talked about this. And I haven't played it normal, traditionally. However, when I was reading the reviews for Resident Evil 7, and I read them after I played the game because I didn't want anything spoiled for me, there were two things that every reviewer brought up. Have you played Resident Evil 7? No?
Just a little bit. Never got
Okay.
very deep into it. I think the last thing I did was the on the garage when you're fighting the guy in the car.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. That's pretty much, I think, the first big boss.
Mm-hmm.
Like that you actually fight the boss and not just an encounter that you're trying to escape. I think that's what it is. Well, there's two things that every reviewer complained. And one is when you got out of the house. By the way, some spoilers here, minor spoilers. When you got out of the house and you end up in a boat.
If
And a
there's the
lot of
boat,
and a,
god damn you, Rich.
there's
God damn you. Big spoiler there. I'm not gonna play that
so
game
that
anymore.
I think it's like a third of the game. You're in this boat, and a lot of people didn't like the fact that you got out of the mansion because the mansion was amazing, and it's reminiscing Resident Evil 1 to begin with, right? So a lot of people, just the fact that you're out of the mansion into a boat kind of uh, rubbed them the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second part is towards the end, it becomes really actiony. And by that I mean it becomes more like a shooting gallery before you get to the final boss. It's
Alright.
not that much. It's really not that long. It's not like, oh, a big part of the game is this, but it did break the pacing that it had. From a survival horror to a little bit more of a shootery action game before
Mm-hmm.
the end. However, when I played it in VR, moving into the boat, although it is less, and I don't argue with this, it is less interesting than the mansion. It was still very, very scary in
Hmm.
VR. So I didn't mind as much the
That
change
it
in
went a
scenery
little
just
bit
because I was.
actiony. Uh-huh.
No, no, no. I'm talking just the boat. The boat wasn't
Okay.
actually still. It was still horror. I didn't mind it as much just because I was really scared all the time. Like any turn in the corner, something's gonna come out and scare the shit out of me, right? So I was more concerned about my well-being, just trying to survive, than the actual scenery of where I'm at. And it's coming back to what you're saying. Maybe in Portable, maybe you care even more because you're in this amazing mansion. Now you go to this boat, but I am so immersed into this game in VR. I'm just shitting my pants. Like I can be in a bathroom. I'll be scared. Or I could be in a kitchen. I'll be scared. Or I don't know. My point is, it didn't matter to me that much because I was just shitting my pants the whole time. And then when I got to the actiony part, it actually felt like I was finally able to breathe. Like after 9 of 10 hours of just like being scared and turning around the corner and just shitting my pants every step that I took, it just felt like just a release to finally be able to let go. So instead of being a negative, it was like a huge positive for me. It was just like,
Nice.
I can finally breathe and I can find the end. Not that I wanted the game to finish, but it's just like I can finally let go a little bit and just like kill these MFers. So I think that is a game that really the hardware, playing in virtual reality made a humongous difference as it relates to those two things.
Oh, by the way, speaking of VR and the screen that we're looking at, there is a Space Marine game for VR that just came out recently, and they say
Oh,
that it's a
really?
really good experience as a VR device. You know,
Very
I
cool. Very cool.
I don't know because I don't have a VR headset, of course, but that will be something that I would like to play. It will be interesting to see how do you feel being this hulking, walking tank of destruction in first person, right? I, I I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
can imagine how can they make that, happen. How can they make that feel good? Even if you're in the VR environment and you're not really carrying your big gun and stuff like that. But I'm going to guess that it has to feel very good.
I would imagine. Yeah, anything that is first-person shooter. And the only thing I don't know if it's gonna be like an on-rail shooter or
Mm-hmm.
you actually have your own movement and it's like an open world type of VR experience.
I don't know. I'm going to guess it's going to be on rails, but who knows? I haven't checked
That'll be fun.
it
I
out
mean,
yet.
one of my favorite games in VR is it's oh, what is it called? It's from the it's a pseudo sequel to Until Dawn. But I forget the Rush of Blood. I think it's called Rush of Blood.
Huh.
And you're actually on a roller coaster. All the levers are in a roller coaster, and things are just popping left and right in VR, and you just have to shoot them, and it's really good. Now, if it wasn't in VR, it would be somewhat of a boring arcadey game,
Uh-huh.
but in VR, it makes a big difference.
Uh, I can imagine the Dead Space game that came on the Wii. That would be great on
Oh,
that would be great on VR. I think it was still
that would
sort
be
of on
an
rails. Well, no, not sort of. It was on rails too. It was on rails. You
yeah.
just advanced and stuff. But I have to guess that between the shooting and the scary stuff, it has to feel very good as an experience if you could get that running in VR, which of course we might
And
never
the and
know.
the and the Wii one, it, even though it's the one that looks the worst, it's probably the best one because you use the Wiimote as a
Exactly.
shooter, as opposed to I think the other ones you use the controller.
They're just the
Except
controllers.
maybe the PS3 has some kind of move controllers, but I don't know if that was if
Yes,
that
yes it does.
extension used it.
I think I'm gonna have it stored somewhere around there. But I bought this. It was for Killzone originally, and of course you could use it on many other things.
Hmm.
It was this like controller, which
Yeah,
was actually this full-on rifle, right, with a shotgun action and stuff like that, and then you just put the strange PS move whatever I can't remember the name of the device, but the stuff with the little big bulbs of light. Just put them on the controller, and there you go. You have a full-on experience, right? So
I
it
think they're
wasn't.
called move controllers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the move controllers exactly. So it was interesting because you could play single player games. It was a little bit rough, but you could play them. What happened is that one of the controllers, the one that had the analog stick, you put it on the lower side where you grip the
Hmm.
full weapon on the back. So you could actually move with this thumb. You could move that, and then with the other move controller, that's what controlled your turns. So it was kind of a rough experience, but you could kind of play still. But the best games for that device was of course Unreal games.
On
Unreal
rail
games that
shooters.
was awesome. So Dead Space with that stuff, it was awesome as well because you had
Okay.
a full on rifle, not
Yeah,
just the Wii controllers.
that's awesome. Well, there was a game in for the first VR PSVR called Farpoint,
Mm-hmm.
and the game came with when it first released. Afterwards, they made it that you can play with a normal controller, but it's not as fun. When it first released, it came out with an aim controller, which is pretty much what you mentioned, but just slightly better design, and it was all integrated in the gun. You don't have to put any
Mm-hmm.
controllers in it, right? So you have in your the way it was designed, here you had the the
The
left
movement
side
stick.
of your controller.
Yeah. The movement stick,
And
the one where you can move, front, back, left, and right.
yeah, the one that had a cursor. I mean
Mm-hmm.
the analog stick. But the aim controller had everything in it. You didn't have to put any controllers in. It was just
Mm-hmm.
all integrated in the gun. So the left hand side, it was your left hand side of a controller, like the same buttons, and the right hand side had the same buttons that you would have on the right hand side. Now there were slightly different positions, obviously, because it wasn't a
Yes.
controller, but it was the buttons were there. So you can do everything that you can do in a first person shooter, but in VR and with your gun.
Mm-hmm.
And it was perfect. Like it was amazing. Again, a game that without the VR, without the gun was probably maybe a 6 at best. But playing it in VR and playing with that controller push it to an 8 or maybe an 8.5.
Which is a very good experience, taking into account that it's a VR game, right? And that that VR is very hard to make a good game in VR because there's a lot of many things that you have to consider, and how can you make it work and happen. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, it was one of the better games in the VR games in the PSVR. As it relates to shooters, it was that one, which is Farpoint. Um, oh shoot, Fire Team. What is Firewolf? Firewolf was amazing, which is a four versus four,
Mm-hmm.
and it was all using the same gun. And shoot, there was another one that it played like a Guy Ritchie movie. I can't remember the name.
Oh,
It was so
yeah,
fun.
it sounds that sounds familiar. Yeah, it was like sort of yeah. I'm trying
It
to remember
was
the
so
name.
fun. That was an amazing game. That was an amazing game. What other game, Mel? What do you have
I
that?
have one for you, and this has to do with hardware as well, but not how you expected. Back in the day, there was this little console called Nintendo, which had
Mhm.
a particular game called Track and Field. Now,
Uh,
track track and field did have a use of the gamepad. What was it called? The
no,
big
it
the
was
big
well,
pad,
it was a mat.
the game mat or whatever it's called. The playing mat, right? You put it on the floor. It had
Yep.
these big circles, and you just press on them with your feet, and you were pressing
Oh
the
my
buttons
God.
pretty much. That was awful. That was crappy. It was also crappy to play with a controller because you had to tap
Yeah.
one button after the other. So one, two, one, two, one, two, one, two, one, two, for most of the games in track and field, and that was disgusting. Now, the one piece of
And
hardware.
still we played it.
Yeah. Of course we would play it, but the one piece of hardware that you would use to play that game is nothing that you would expect. I
A
used a
spoon.
spoon. Yes, a spoon. Because of the rounded shape of the spoon and the easy grip that you had on the spoon, you could just grab the spoon, press your thumb against the spoon bottom, and you would just go against the controllers and do this. You just
Yeah.
you just did this.
It was our way. It was our
Or
very archaic way of turbo.
of turbo, exactly. So before turbo came out, we were doing turbo, and guess what? With the spoon, you could win against the turbo. Interestingly enough, once the controls with turbo came out, we tested it, and we were still won with the spoon. So that little piece of cluttery hardware, it was awesome for that one game, and some others that required, tapping A B A B A B. So that's an interesting one, if I may say so.
That I'm glad you brought it up. I knew about it, but it would have never crossed my mind. But yes, hardware that made a game better, although the game still sucked.
Yeah. Well, the game would suck, but we would win at it. Doesn't matter which contest was it. The spoon made it
Yeah.
happen. It's
I
it's
would say.
interesting how a lot of
Oh, go
people
ahead, bro.
yeah, a lot of people later on started to do a lot of stuff with rubber bands too. When
Oh yeah, that's true.
when we were playing Gran Turismo 2, I believe. Once you get the Suzuki car, the Scudo, uh, you could just put a rubber band to keep it going. You had the big oval race. You will have your track up front with the wall, the contention wall, on the right. So what you would do is you would just put a rubber band to get you hit against the wall, and then you would use a tape just to accelerate, and that's it. You could do your 24 hours run, because there was a 24 hours run. You could do it that simple because the scooter was so freaking fast and totally broken that it would not lose any momentum at full speed, even if you were crashing against the wall like pap 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 pap. So that was
That's
the way
hilarious.
to do your the longer runs.
Oh my
So
god.
tape and rubber band, tools for gaming.
I would say now any JRPG that is not graphically intensive, and I'm only saying that because once you have a graphically intensive game, you may want to see it on your big TV, right?
Sure.
But any game that is not that graphical intensive, or better yet, you have something like the Switch or the Steam Deck when you can play it sometimes portable and sometimes on the TV. I think those experiences are better on the portable, just generally speaking, just because of the grinding. Like every time you have to grind, you don't have to be in front of your couch. You can be laying on your couch, you can be on the train, you can be whatever. And you don't have to or you can be watching TV while you grind because it doesn't really require a lot of your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Those I think are better portable, especially those that are not too graphically intensive. And if they are a little bit, like I played Xenoblade, the first Xenoblade on the Switch, I played it both ways. Like when I was grinding, I would just be portable, or if I was traveling, but if I got to a key point where I thought, "Ooh, this seems to be like a cinematic part of the game," I'm gonna put it on the TV and let's enjoy this on big scale. But even like Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom, I really enjoyed it having it both ways. Like if I could just play it, if I was grinding or just doing some random missions, I would do it portable on the TV. But if I was playing the main story and I knew, like if I was in a temple or
Mm-hmm.
or fighting a boss or something like that, I was going back
Okay.
to the TV type of thing. But I don't
I'm
think I would have enjoyed those games that much if it wasn't for the fact that I could do that. I,
I'm going to take a big guess here and a big leap of faith and say that that's something that most parents would say.
what do you mean?
Yeah,
Oh, I know. Yeah, I got you. I got
yeah. I think the portable devices became something that helped a lot of people that had to be, taking care of children because you have to go to school, you have to go and pick them up, you have to go and do whatever,
you.
and all of the time you're on the road, you're not at home, and you just wish you could be playing. And hey, guess what? You have a portable device. You can't be playing while waiting for your kid to come back from soccer, you know. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think portable devices. There's worldwide parents enjoy them the most, and in Japan everyone does because everyone is always commuting for some reason. So that's why portables are very commonplace and popular in Japan. But in this side of the world, whoever has to be either traveling a lot or taking care of kids, they enjoy the portables more than anyone else.
to
Like,
me is that I really don't play that much when I'm taking my kids to places, and most of my kids go close by,
mm,
so I really don't play games doing like, oh, I'm waiting them for soccer, I'm waiting them for
mm-hmm,
karate, or I'm waiting for this because they're really so close that it's like a 5 minute drive, or
uh-huh.
I most of the time I don't even drive them. They just walk there, or I walk them and I walk back, so I don't get to play. But there comes a point, at least for me, that if I'm sitting too long in the same spot, I just want to be somewhere else. Like if after 2 hours or 3 hours of playing games, even though I still want to play, I'm tired of sitting down in the same spot. So me just being able to lay down on the couch and continue playing, that makes a big difference to me.
So you would buy or I don't know if you have already bought the Portal.
No, because I don't like streaming.
Ha ha. Okay, but it's still like it's supposed to be like very good streaming. You know, it should be like almost 1-1 when playing the Portal at home, of course.
At home, yeah. No, I have not. I'll tell you why. Most of the PS5 games that I really want to play on the PS5, I want to play it on the big TV.
Sure.
Like Returnal, I want to play on the big TV. Spider-Man, I want to play it on the big TV. Horizon, I want to play it on the big TV. Like those, although there is some writing, and maybe like Horizon, maybe I would have enjoyed some parts of it in smaller and affordable.
Mm-hmm.
Most of it, I want to play it on the big TV.
True.
Um, so no, the Portal really doesn't do it
Doesn't
for
appeal.
me. No, not really. Nah, not really. It has never appealed to me, and I never had a good experience streaming. I
Yeah.
had decent. I like actually, you know which game I played a lot streaming through my PS Vita.
Mm-hmm.
It was South Park, the first RPG South Park.
The butthole one.
Yeah, no, that was the second one. Fractured Butthole is the second one.
Oh yeah. I
Uh,
can't remember the name. The
I
first
can't
one.
remember
Well,
the
it
name
was like
either.
the RPG one. The
Yeah,
one where they're like Dungeons and Dragons
yes.
ish.
I play that on the Vita a lot, but streaming from my PS4
Hmm.
for the same reason. I was like, I'm gonna grind, and it looks beautiful. The game is beautiful, but it's not graphically intensive. Like
No, it's not.
it looks like a cartoon, which is great. That says a lot, right? It didn't
It
look
looks
like a
like
video
a
game.
it looks like a badly made cartoon, which looks great.
Yes, that's exactly right. So I actually play that streaming, and that was a decent experience. But that's a very specific game that's not impacted that much by streaming.
Yeah. Um. You know, on the portable side of things, I've never really been that keen into it. I did have a. I did steal your Game Boy quite often back in the day.
Yeah.
Um, which I'm really grateful for. Thank you. Um,
No problem.
I did have a Game Boy Advance, and although I did have quite a few games,
Which one?
the Game Boy Advance, the original one, the one that was
No,
like
but which version?
the first one,
Oh,
the
okay,
first
the
one.
clamshell that had bad lighting.
Yeah, exactly that one. And I even had like this little light that you connected on the top, and it didn't do crap
Yes.
for you.
Oh my God.
It was sucky as hell. Although to play a Final Fight portable, that was something. That's the one game that I was like, oh my god, this is amazing! How can they do this? You know, it was of course Final Fight, but back in the day, it was awesome. Um, and after that, I never had a portable until the Switch, and that's only because it was a gift. You know, I would have never bought it myself if it would come to that. You know.
it doesn't have to be a portable anyways. Like you can just play it on your TV all the time.
Sure, but now the thing is this: I do have the Switch. Um, I do travel quite a bit for work, and even then, I take it
You don't
with me.
take
Of
it.
course, I'll take it, but I've rarely opened it up and played something. The only times I've sort of played it a little bit was when I was waiting for the plane, and even then, I would play a little bit, and then I'll just stash it back and probably bring out a book or something. So yeah,
Well, I was kind of like you. I was a person. I was like, why would I want to play portable if I can play on the TV?
Exactly.
However, and again, I don't think, and maybe the dad thing does make a difference, but I'm not seeing that as much, not in my case. But
Hmm.
I do, and it's going back to the comment that you just made, like, why didn't you buy a Portal, or why are you a fan of the Portal? It's like, no, those type of games I want to play on the big TV.
Yep.
But older games, especially like the 360 ones and
Hmm.
before, or the PS2, like I really enjoyed those on the portable. Like I don't know if I would have the patience for them on the big TV.
I'm gonna tell you something. The most games I have in the Switch, they're mostly Konami collections. So
Yeah,
Contra, Castlevania, those kind of games. The Capcom collections as well. So yeah,
yeah,
I totally get you there. All games, using the Switch as a emulation kind of thing, it kind of
kind of,
helps.
yeah.
Yeah, it's great for retro gaming.
Yeah, like Red Dead Redemption. Remember we were talking about it last week that it came out, or 2 weeks ago. I
Yeah.
forget when it came out. And I was like, I have no intention of playing that in the big TV. I love the game, but it's kind of dated at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But portable, I'm 100% in.
Huh. Interesting. I don't know if I would play it even portable, but yeah, sure. At the end, yes. The thing is that if I'm not traveling, I'm sitting right here. I work right here where you're looking at me. I have another monitor here, another monitor over there, and another monitor over here, and then I have the big TV right here. So, saying that, uh, I don't really have that many chances to go into the field and say, hey, I'm gonna have a moment to play this. If I go to the field, I go to work, and it's a lot
Yeah, yeah.
harder. It's easier for me to work here and have like a 10, 15 minutes of relaxation or whatever, and I just pick up a game or whatever, right? So it's a lot easier. And yes, I'm most of the times I'm just sitting on this chair and just turning on the big TV or just playing on the big monitor at the front. So
See,
yeah,
I
I'm
can't
definitely
be in the
more of
same
a.
chair for too long. It drives me nuts. Like you
I
don't, the sofa they have in the back, you don't use it to play.
mm-hmm.
You don't, or you do?
This one
Yeah,
no, rarely if ever. I have it more
got
likely just in the rare occasion if that ever happens and someone else comes here and say, hey, let's go and play something. There, you can sit there. I'll just use my one chair here.
it.
The thing about this chair is that it's rather mobile, right? So I can just go back and forth and do whatever.
Yeah,
So, and it's rather comfy. It is quite comfy. So, uh, the the couch over there is like very off point from the TV. With the chair, I can go straight into the center of the TV. And if I
gotcha.
do this, I'm straight into the center of my monitor. And if I do this, I am working for the office. So yeah, the chair kind of helps to keep all of that together, and it kind of helps me to keep focus on whatever I have to do. If I have to work, I can work. If I want to distract myself a little bit while working because my brain for some reason works better in that way, I have two ways to work. It's either distracted or under pressure. So any of those two modes, I work better. If I focus on on work, I won't do much for some reason. Don't ask me why. That's how my brain works. But yeah, this positioning is very modular for me. So
Good,
yeah,
good,
it's
good.
portable for
Any
me.
other
It doesn't do
example?
much.
Any other examples of hardware making a difference?
And we just talked recently about Steel Battalion. Gosh, I wish I
Hmm.
would have played the original game with the big
Yeah,
controller thing. I
I
think
know
it
what
might
you
have
mean.
done a difference. Um, I'm very close. I mean, I'm just waiting for the offers in Amazon and whatever for Black Friday or Cyber Monday or what have you, uh, to see if I can get a driving wheel.
Oh, look at that.
Specifically, I mean, I already have the rig, and I only have to take one screw off to be able to put the wheel, right? So it's not really that hard, and
Yeah,
it will be cool.
that sounds like a great idea. Yeah, yeah.
Also,
Um, just
a racing game might be the only game that my wife would play. She doesn't like video games. She says I'm scared of video games, you know. So, driving games, that might be the one thing that I might be able to bring her into the fold. Go figure. So yes, I might be getting the driving wheel, specifically Logitech G293. That's more or less like one of the budget slash good product mix. So yeah,
you
that's the
know
one I'm
exactly
getting.
what you want.
Yeah, yeah, I already did my research. Whenever it comes to hardware, any kind of hardware, I do a lot of research. Even for that one right there, I did a lot of research. But most of all, that one was purchased because it does have like foot pedals, or you can buy the foot pedals separately, which we did, and it works on the Xbox, on Xbox One, Series X. So that's the reason why we play this. But yeah, I do a lot of research when it comes to hardware, any kind of hardware, and I did my
Yeah,
research for the wheel.
that's great. I can't. Hopefully, you can get it on sale and add it to your collection.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome. And there's a bunch of games that would be interesting to play. Not only racing
Oh,
games, but you know how I have this strange guilty pleasure of playing America's Truck Simulator.
yes, that will be amazing with a
America,
wheel.
yeah, it would be awesome with wheel and just sit down and chill and just drive it over. I love driving, you know, on the street, on the road. So
Like real
being able
driving.
to, yeah, real driving. So being able to do any kind of driving, sitting down as it should be, with an actual wheel, that's always awesome.
Well, one what I would like to play with a wheel will be Forza Horizon. That should be
Yes,
fun.
I already have it installed, just in case. Yeah, yeah. The
I'm trying to think
Forza
what other
Horizon.
hardwares made a difference. I'm trying to think of the gimmicks that have come out.
Um, I can remember, a few. Remember the laser boy, laser whatever, the one thing in Nintendo that you put and they had like a one islands on the front and they had like headset and they you.
I can kind of remember that.
It was
Kind
like
of,
very
yeah.
thin. It was like a thin thing that came down like this and then they put
Yeah,
it on
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
sides.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I vaguely remember it.
it was awful. It was the worst thing ever. It didn't work. If the zapper didn't work, that shit was real shit.
Well, the Power Glove didn't work.
But the power glove didn't work. It was worth for nothing. It was awesome to see it. Whenever you saw
Yeah.
power glove, you were like in the movie, right? Like, oh, it's so bad. It was very bad. It was awful.
You don't understand how bad it was.
Yeah. Uh,
Um,
I never had the chance
trying
to
to.
use Robbie, the little robot with the top spins.
No, I did. I had a friend who had it, and I mean, but I was a kid, so I don't
Yeah, I
know.
just saw the
It did.
robot and it was awesome, but and you didn't even know what it was doing. But hey, it's a moving robot and it has the top spin for some reason. That's cool, in the kid side. We were very simple kid back then.
There was the remember Mario Paint for the Super Nintendo?
Oh
You can come
yeah,
with a mouse and a pad.
with the mouse and the pad. Yes, that was awesome.
Yeah,
But
that
interestingly enough, we never used it for writing. Sorry, for drawing that much. We used it to play
yeah,
the fly game.
the fly game. I used it for drawing a lot, but it was a pain because
Yeah.
you can make like cartoons, make it move and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. But it was a pain. What else? What
There,
was up? The
there was
64 did it have gimmicks? I
there
can't
was
remember
this
any like.
one there was this one game in Game Boy Advance, I believe, which had a light sensor. So
Oh,
whenever it was dark, the game would do X things. It would like it's night. Oh my god, and stuff happens. And whenever it was it was sunny, the game would change as well. It would do other things because hey, it's daylight. It's good. So I don't know if it worked or if it was worth to have the gimmick in itself, but I remember that one. I just can't remember which game. There was just one game that used it. Um,
I think there was a Game Boy Advance, a Warrior game that
mm-hmm.
it had some kind of like it could measure, and that was very common in the controllers, right? They can tell how you're moving the controller, but at that point, it had some kind of I don't know, but it could tell if you were moving or jiggling your controller, but it was in
Mm-hmm.
the cartridge. I mean, not the controller, the whole system.
Yeah. Bad
Um,
experiences with VR. Well, there's always the Nintendo's Virtual Boy.
oh yeah, the Virtual Boy. Yeah,
I,
that did
I
not make any game better.
yeah, it didn't do nothing for anyone whatsoever. The games were also very clunky. Visually, you were like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna be sick," and
Well,
not
and the
because
games were not, you couldn't play them outside of that. Like,
yeah,
you could only play them there. So it's not
mm-hmm.
like,
Like it's gonna make things better. No, it was just bad, just bad at
it
all.
was just bad. Yeah. I never played this, but I remember that there was a Donkey Kong game. I think it was in the 64. No, it was in the GameCube that you can use on bongos
Oh yeah,
and you
yeah,
move
yeah.
Donkey Kong with bongos.
Yeah, I remember that one. I mean, I
And a
never played
lot
it,
of
but I
people liked
remember.
it. I never played it, but a lot of people really liked that game. It was like it was pretty popular back in the day.
Wow. Of course, we cannot forget anything. Guitar Hero, Rock Band, Rockstar. You know,
Oh yeah, yeah.
that was great.
Those
But
are
the
classic.
Guitar Hero was okay, but Rock Band really hit the right spots with it, especially with the drums, because the drums
Yeah,
they were pretty much an actual digital drum set.
yeah. It was
So
amazing.
so, so
The
it
drums
felt
were amazing.
it felt really good, and then there was Rocksmith. Rocksmith, I never played it myself,
Yeah,
but a lot of people actually learned that to play the guitar with Rocksmith because you could connect your actual guitar. It wasn't a plastic thing with buttons on the guitar itself. It was an actual guitar which you can use to learn and play and whatever. So that's pretty cool.
yeah. That was a good game. I have it and I played it for a little bit, but I got distracted with other things. But yes, I was learning a little bit of guitar playing with that, playing the guitar, and I'm sure I would have made a lot of progress had I just stayed with it,
Mm-hmm.
but I did not. So it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Um, the Wiimotes, a lot of people don't like them, but it made like Wii Sports. It's a
Mm-hmm.
stupid little game that doesn't have much, but it's very fun to play with a Wiimote.
There was this one game. I'm trying to remember the game, the name.
Red
Red
Steel,
something. Huh?
Red Steel.
Red Steel. Was it Red Steel? The one with that you played with like a sort of like a gunslinging samurai.
Hmm.
That's the one. That the second one, it was awesome with the
The second one, yeah.
yeah, the second one, you could play it with the Wiimote, so you would use one to
Plus,
shoot and then the other one to use a sword, and that was great. That one
I
game,
think,
that's the
yeah,
one game I
yeah, that
like
was
from
really
the
good.
from the Wii.
Yeah, I mean that is one game that is completely used the best. It used the very unique features of the Wii to its best advantage because you
Oh,
have the shooter and you
mm-hmm.
have the moving.
Also, you needed the special attachment that you had to put on the bottom of the Wiimote. That
Yeah, you
it
needed it
had
was
rumble and it had like a
no, it's not that it had rumble.
the oscillometer was a little bit better than what the Wii
Yes,
mode itself
it
had.
was more precise. It's
Yeah.
all it did because the Wiimotes already had one
Oh, it
rumble.
already. I thought it came.
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
rumble
The
wasn't there.
attachment was just to make it more precise.
Uh huh.
And then
But
they started selling what they call Wiimote Plus, which you didn't need the attachment; it
yeah,
was
it
just
was a
already
single
included in the
controller
Wiimote.
with the whole thing.
Yeah.
Um. Something came to mind and just went off. I'm gonna try to remember. Oh, I know. Nintendo 64 and its Megabyte Improver, which sucked balls. It was like this big,
Oh, the expansion
the
pack, you mean?
expansion pack. Yes, that one. Yeah, you put it. You supposedly had like more memory, so you could get uh, pretty much a better response in every single way with the game. It sucked. You put that, and the games were even worse. And the Nintendo
But
64,
some games were not playable without it.
yeah, yeah, they weren't, but you put it, and they sucked. The games were totally crappy, and those which you could actually play with the with or without. Once you put it in, it was like, oh my god, is this better? I don't see I don't see it. I don't see how.
Yeah, it was minor. It was minor. I think there was three games that I think used it. One was
Mm-hmm.
Donkey Kong 64.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a great game. And I
No.
can't remember if you needed it or it just made it slightly better.
There was
Perfect
a
Dark, you needed it.
Perfect Dark. There
You know,
was
you could also play like
this
some
one.
training missions without it. You
Mm-hmm.
needed the expansion pack if you wanted to play the main campaign. Um,
Bad on
and
you,
I think
Nintendo.
Majora's Mask needed it.
No, I don't think it needed. No,
No?
I
Okay, so maybe
don't think
just
it
made it
needed.
slightly better.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Some games actually played a lot worse because the um, the memory in the expansion pack wasn't really that compatible with a lot of games, which
Yeah.
were announced as compatible. So yes, compatible as in yes, you can use it to play with them, with it. But they would actually screw the game, so you would get a lot stutter. I think Star Fox 64 had that issue. If you use the expansion pack,
Oh,
it would
really?
it would get very stuttery. And there was also this Konami game. I just can't remember the name. It was an exclusive for Nintendo 64. Um,
Yeah, I
it
don't
was like a
remember
spy
that,
game
especially
kind of
Star
thing.
Fox. But by the time the expansion pack came up, I don't think I was playing Star Fox anymore. That was the game that was just.
I think I wasn't playing Nintendo 64 anymore. PlayStation was the fad.
And then
PlayStation
what else? I can't
PSX.
think. What
Hmm.
else? Well, you have the gamepad on the Wii U, which I think there's only one game that made sense. It was Nintendo Land. That's actually a very fun game that used the second screen to its advantage.
Uh-huh.
But that was it. Other than that,
Most
any other game
games,
I didn't really.
most games,
Yeah,
it was just to be able to look at the map of the game,
yeah,
and that's about it. Or you could, of
yeah. Not
course,
great.
play it portable. You could play the game portable, right? If you were near the
But you have to be
machine.
close by.
Yeah, you had to be near the machine. If you were a little bit forward, it would
You will
lose
lose the connection.
the connection. So you had to play nearby. But it kind of worked like the portal. There, that's the portal for you. Like
That
how
was the
many years
original
back?
Portal.
The original portal. That's right.
There was a few games actually, and now that I'm thinking about it, there's a few games that played better in the Wii U than anywhere else. And
Mm-hmm.
one of them was Okami. Did you ever play Okami?
Yes, Akami was cool on the Wii because you could do the all the symbols, the ink symbols. You could do them with.
Yeah, you can just do it with your remote.
Yeah.
On the same vein, the Wonderful 101 used the gamepad in order to do some of the special moves. You
Mm-hmm.
have to do like a drawing on the Wii, which I think when they translate it into the game, you can do it through controller, but it's a little bit harder using the stick than just
Mm-hmm.
drawing on the gamepad.
The latest,
Um,
the latest portable Castlevania used the second screen as where you could. Sorry, no, it wasn't a second screen. It was a beta game, I believe, where you could. I can't remember if it was beta or which system, but you also had to draw like glyphs and stuff like that to solve puzzles and get powers and whatever. So you could do it like with the touch or with the
oh, that was
pen
a
or whatever.
3DS. You're talking Castlevania?
Yeah, but was it 3DS? I'm not sure.
Or the DS. It might have been a DS, not a 3DS. Sorry.
No, 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 no. I'll tell you in a second because it just came out on the latest collection. Dawn of Sorrow. It came out on the Dominus collection, so I'll tell you in a second. We are talking about Dawn of Sorrow, yeah. That originally came out.
Was that on the Game Boy Advance then?
Is it?
No, I think that's a DS. No.
Dawn of Sorrow. DS. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the
So
DS.
yeah, so you use the
So
second
you
screen
use the
to
second
make
screen to do the
yeah,
to do
some of those
the
moves.
what else? What else? What other devices? There has been a whole bunch of crazy devices for very specific video games. I'm just trying to remember. Well, there was that one game in Game Boy of all things. Interestingly enough, the Game Boy did have a lot of gimmicky devices.
Oh yeah, it
It
had.
had this little printer, like a little mini tiny little
I was
printer.
about to say that. Yeah,
Yeah,
had a printer.
I remember that. I don't even know if it was a game at all or if it just had like a you put the cartridge and it's sort of like the software to do the take pictures and the print them.
No, I
But
think there's some games. I think Link's Awakening, the DX version, used the printer
huh.
for whatever. You could print some things. I don't know what. I never played it, and I never had a printer. And I only, I mean, let me clarify. I never played the DX version of Link's Awakening. I only played the original and the
Mhm.
remake now that it came out on the Switch, right?
I
But
played the
yes, I
DX.
know you played the DX. So I think there's a section, a house or something where you can print out, like maybe certain animals or some of the things that you're collecting, but I can't remember what it
Mm-hmm.
was exactly.
What about
Uh,
the what about the Labo?
oh, the Labo, but that's but that's a little bit different because the Labo is it's a game that was specifically created to make the to build things, right? Like
Um,
they need each other. Like there's no way you can play Lavo and anything else. If that
yeah,
makes sense.
that's true.
Um, it's
Mm.
but it's I mean if I need to say it's a fun it is it's fun like there's very a lot of packages. The variety one, the one that you can have like you can make a house and you can go fishing or you can make a motorcycle. That one was actually pretty fun. The robot is interesting just because you can create this backpack that pretty much gives you motion over a robot. But it's really the variety one was the better one, to be honest.
Nice. Um, yeah, I mean,
I think I'm running out of things, to be
me
honest.
me too. I'm trying to think of other gimmicks, other like hardware that has come out throughout the years, and I know there's plenty, but the closer that we get to today, the harder it is to find gimmicky hardware. Back in the day, they
Yeah,
would do a
you
lot of
really
hardware
have to
for
think
all
about
consoles.
Nintendo for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Nintendo's the one who does the most gimmicky things. So
Yeah.
a lot will probably be one of the latest ones. Um, the GameCube
Yeah.
had a lot of gimmicky stuff. We talked about the bongos. It was one of the first consoles to have a microphone. There was a game that used
Mm-hmm.
a microphone, for
Yes,
instance.
the microphone.
Uh,
I don't know if you would count the 360. You were able to use keyboard and mouse with it. Huh?
oh yeah,
Huh?
that's true. Oh. SOCOM on the PS2 could also use the microphone. You can give orders through the microphone to your squad.
Huh. Interesting.
I did that. I played SOCOM. I think it was SOCOM 2.
So you would give orders to the NPCs?
Yeah,
Huh.
and
Okay.
it
Okay.
worked. And it worked, Mel. That was the amazing thing.
Wow. Interesting.
Uh,
Um. there has been a few games that use audio to their advantage, like Phasmophobia. That's a one game you do want to have a headset, but not only just a
Mm,
headset, but also a headset with a mic, because you can't. It does have like a free chat with your fellow players, but if
yeah.
but it does have like a distance meter. So the farther you are, the further
Oh,
you
okay.
are, the less you can hear until you can't hear them at all, right? And on that game, communication is kind of key, right, to be able to solve solve the mystery and stuff like that. So you want to keep close to your fellow teammates, and you want to be able to communicate with them, right? Which makes me think, with all the technology for ghost hunting technology that you bring into that game, it's interesting that you don't just bring a headset to be able to communicate with your team. But hey, it is what it is. Also,
Uh,
there's some shooters that also use the proximity audio. So sometimes you could listen to people when they were getting closer, and that way you
hmm
could identify where they are and just shoot back at them before they got to you, right? So
Yeah, yeah. That I was aware, like the proximity on shooters on when you
mm-hmm.
play online.
Yeah,
I think that's it. No, I can't. I don't want to drag this if we don't have any more examples.
yeah, I think that that's about it. Um,
Hey, we have a
but
show. We didn't have an agenda, and yet we got a show out.
yeah, that's true. Not only that, we went down to memory lane, and memory lane is always awesome. Tons of stuff to talk about on that side. But yeah, finally, I would say that off the topic. Metal Slug Tactics just came out, and it's on
Oh yeah,
Game Pass, so that's something we
Game
have to
Pass.
try out. Yeah. Of course, I'm waiting for Flight Simulator 24, which is coming out on Game Pass on November 19th. And there's already a date for the Video Game Awards, which is going to be on the 12th of
Oh, is
December.
there?
Yeah, so if you can save the date, we can do a live stream of that.
December 12th.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I think that's my company holiday party.
Ah, so sad.
So
Well,
no.
we can do it later then. Maurice.
Yeah, we can do it later. Yeah, I can't do that one. But you know, you know what big rumor is that they'll show the Wonder Woman game that Monolith, WB and Monoliths are creating.
Well, you don't see that many Monolith games, so whatever they can spew, it probably is good.
Oh, we'll see.
Yeah.
And then
Do you
you
think
think we'll
the
see the
Switch?
Switch too?
I don't think so. I was going to ask that question, but I don't think so. The Switch 2 announcement, that's something that's going to be saved for Nintendo, one of their treehouse or whatever. I don't think
I think
they'll
so.
leave that reveal, to a third party.
I think you're right, but I'm more of I don't think they're gonna make any announcement before Christmas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think
I
so.
think they want all their holiday sales to be Switch,
Yeah,
so they're gonna
they'll
save it till next
probably.
year,
Yeah,
sometime early January. I think that's when they'll
I'm
show
I'm
it.
I'm thinking February. They're gonna still use January's momentum to the holidays momentum to try and drive some more sales of the Switch, and after that, then
You think?
yeah. So I'm thinking February.
I just think depends when it's gonna go on sale. If it's really gonna go on sale in March or April, then it has to be January. If it's not gonna be until September, October, then yes, February, March, April, it doesn't matter at that point.
Historically speaking, when have they released the previous Switches and other consoles?
I think the Switch was a March. It's a March thing.
March. Yeah, because I was always thinking, there's always the holidays, right? But Nintendo doesn't play
But I
ball
could be
the
wrong.
way anyone else does. So yeah,
I'm losing.
yeah.
I'm losing you, Mel.
Yep. Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, there's something going on.
Can you listen to
Yeah,
me?
man. I think we should cut it up before something goes wrong. Yeah, I'm kind of losing you, and I don't know if it's you or me.
All right. Well, I think that was the show. Let's wrap it up. Rich, please.
Guys, thank you so much for being here. Once again, a pleasure to talk video games with Mel, going down memory lane as related to topics. I mean, hardware that made a difference in our video game time. Mel?
For good and bad. So yeah, as always, thank you for having the time to get to talk about video games and stuff and the industry and all of that. And oh, just to close down, I finally watched the Penguin. The last episode is
Oh,
coming this
and
Sunday. Yeah, it's awesome. It's great. It's just great. It's very good. It's a very good story. It's
great.
very well acted, and Colin Farrell. My God, what the hell? What the hell? He nails
Well,
it.
I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but don't watch Venom.
Venom. I'll probably still watch it just because it's Tom Hardy, but I'm not expecting a lot or anything
My
at all.
expectations were low, and it was still bad.
So yeah, that's probably gonna happen to me too. But hey, I'm a sucker for bad crap. Um, but yeah, the Penguin totally worth it. The last episode is coming on Sunday, so you can totally binge it now. It's going to be eight episodes, and they're roughly an hour each. So you get a lot of bang for your buck there. And like I
Good.
said, acting, everything, all characters are well placed. All the actors are right on the money, and Colin Farrell nails it. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts winning, you know, Emmys and stuff, and the Golden Globes and what have you,
Oh wow,
because
that
his
to that level, huh?
yeah, because his acting is top notch on that. He really nails the character, and you do forget that it's Colin Farrell. Uh, by the
Wow.
by the half of the second episode, I was already like I was just watching the penguin being the penguin, and of course that penguin, right? Not of course it's not your typical penguin from the comic books or the
Yeah,
cartoons
yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever. It's a really gnarly character. We just got a little taste on the Batman movie, but right here he shines bright. So yep, totally worth it. Make a Get some time to watch it. You won't be disappointed.
I will watch it at some point before the end of the year.
Yeah,
But yes.
and that's my closing argument. So Rich, as always, always a pleasure. Let's talk. Let's talk next week. And this has been Power Up, and of course, as always, keep on gaming. And we'll be back with some more news and some more talk about the industry. In the meantime, catch you later.
Keep on gaming.
Keep on gaming. That's the way it goes.